There's an old saying that goes, influence is earned. You can't borrow it, you can't buy it, you earn it. And in sales, influence is absolutely critical to what you're doing. If you can't influence others, you're not going to be successful in sales. It's pretty much a straightforward equation. But the good news is this, if you're not good at influence, you can earn it. We're going to talk about that. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore, and I help you learn how to be a top performing sales professional so that you can earn more in less time. If that sounds good to you, why wouldn't it? Make sure you click subscribe so you'll be notified each and every time I release a new video. So whether you're new to sales or maybe you've been in sales for a while and you're just trying to generate more opportunities or convert more opportunities, earning influence is the way to do so. There are 4 steps you're going to take in order to earn influence. Let's jump into number 1. Number 1 is to be provocative. In my book, The Unstoppable Sales Machine, right here, I talk about the need for sales professionals to be provocative. You see, what's happening many times, and I've seen this over and over with many of my coaching clients, is that we begin to sell and then we start to look at what our competitors are doing, and that's what we're doing, right? So think about it this way. You're in sales and you want to take some sales training. You go to some sort of sales training, maybe it's something virtual, right? That's probably the same sales training that your competitor took. And then you identify through your competitor's website what marketing materials they're using, and you create similar things. You go to your client and get feedback on other presentations they've heard, and you create similar things. Everything is same. Same doesn't sell. Different, provocative sells. So if you want to earn influence, you want to stand out, you've got to be different. You've got to present yourself differently, you've got to speak differently, and most importantly, you've got to share perspectives and ideas that get your buyers to say, well, I never thought of it that way. The second step to earning influence is to improve your EQ. Now, if you don't know what I mean by EQ, check out Daniel Goleman's book on emotional intelligence. Shout out to Daniel. It's a great book. And it's really designed for leaders and how they build their emotional intelligence relative to leading their teams. But let's be honest, leadership is also influence, just like sales. So if you want to be effective in sales and really earn influence, you need to really practice your emotional intelligence, become more effective with the behaviors and the language and the approaches and the empathy that you use when it comes to dealing with your prospects. So focus on building your EQ. The third step you're going to take when it comes to earning influence in sales is to echo your buyer's language. Here's what I mean. When it comes to the questions that you ask your buyer, they're going to share with you insights around their specific needs, priorities, goals, and objectives. You want to take that information, specifically the language they use, and in turn, use that in your conversations, dialogues, quotes, and proposals. So let's assume for a moment that I'm selling you this book. And so I might ask you some questions about the kind of books you like to read, why you like to read those books, how much time you spend reading. Do you prefer to read a paperback book? Do you prefer a hard copy? Do you like Audible? Whatever the case is, right? Lots of questions tell me a lot about you. And let's say you say, well, you prefer listening to books, you like thrillers, or actually, no, you like sales books, nonfiction. What am I saying, right? So you like nonfiction sales books, specifically by an author, Shawn Casemore. And in this conversation, then I turn this around in my presentation to you. So I say, well, when we talked earlier, Bob, that's your name, by the way, Bob in this scenario, you're going to be Bob. Bob, when I talked to you earlier, so you mentioned you really appreciate listening to books more than reading them, and you really like to listen to books that are focused on sales, specifically non-fiction books focused on sales. Is that correct? Bob's going to say, yeah. You see, the more I repeat Bob's language back to him, the more I get him going, yeah, that's me. That's right. That's what I said. I get this happening. And the more of this I get happening, the better chance I'll keep that nodding. I'll keep those yeses coming as we move into the sales process and through the proposal. So you want to echo your buyer's language because it starts to create earned influence in that relationship, which will help you close the deal. Last tip for you is this: be strategic about relationship building. Top performing sales professionals really focus not just on the relationships with prospects and not just relationships with clients or customers, but they look at all opportunities for relationships. So they look to friendly competitors, people they're competing with on a regular basis, but that are friendly, and have conversations with them to learn more about what's going on in the market. What customers are they working with? What's their margin at, right? They also look to vendors, suppliers to their company, and try to identify relationships through them. Why? Because they realize that there's more than one pathway to generating new business. You see, all the people that you're surrounded by, people you work with, suppliers that support your company, even people you meet in a social environment, probably all know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who could ultimately buy what it is you're selling. So if you start to see relationships as an entry point to building more opportunities, and you focus on building relationships strategically with that in mind, suddenly you start to create earned influence because you start to earn opportunities to influence others. So there you have it, 4 steps that you can take to create earned influence in sales. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out many of my other sales skills building videos. You can check them out right here, and make sure you comment down below if you have any additional strategies you've used to create earned influence in yourself.